Welcome to an all-new episode of Hearthstone Hypotheticals, a show where I ask some kind of Hearthstone-related question to my Twitter, and we see what the Hearthstone community thinks about a particular topic. Today's topic is, what are the cutest cards in Hearthstone? And as you guys can clearly see by this first reply, we have some pretty objective uses of the word cute in this particular video. The funniest and the best replies are going to be featured, so let's go ahead and dive into what the Hearthstone community believes are the cutest cards in the game, according to my Twitter, of course. So let's kick this off properly with Martian Boo's reply of Hobgoblin. It's easily the cutest card, and it's so cute that they named its deck Cutelock. And if you guys aren't familiar with the deck that Martian Boo is referencing here, Hobgoblin goes in a deck to where you have a bunch of zero-cost cards, because most of them have one attack, so you just easily play them and have a board full of 3/3s. There's not too many Warlock decks that use this, but there's actually a version of Cutelock that can climb the wild ladder somewhat effectively. Here's the deck list for you guys in case you haven't seen it, and I actually don't even know if it runs Hobgoblin because it runs cards like Wicked Whispers and Grim Rally in order to buff their entire board to the point where you can have a massive board as early as turn 1, turn 2. So Hobgoblin is kind of slow for those sort of decks, but regardless, the card sees play with a whole bunch of little zero mana minions that are absolutely cute. So even though Hobgoblin himself is not very much of a looker, he does have a lot of cute minions accompanying him, so he does get points for that. Baby Bear is deciding to show us the cutest card in the Forge and the Barrens expansion, and that is Toad of the Wilds. I mean, look at this little guy. Like, regardless of how good or bad of a card he is, you can't deny that this is just an absolute just cutie of a card. We really didn't get too many cute cards, unfortunately, in Forge of the Barrens, just because, I mean, it's a freaking wasteland, and not a lot of things survive unless they're strong, but this was 100% the cutest card that was available in the most recent expansion. Hattrick is deciding to show us Wolpertinger because he is Bugs Bunny when he was a baby and still had wings. And honestly, compared to all the other cards that Rexar is currently running, with cards like the Trampling Rhino, there's not really a lot of cute cards available, but I would have liked to have seen Hattrick put in Adorable Infestation because that would have been a lot more, you know, along the lines of cute than Wolpertinger, in my opinion. But like I said, cuteness is subjective. Maybe Hattrick likes the fact that Wolpertinger is a cute minion that can also win the game, so Wolpertinger definitely has a little bit of an edge there. Dracocat is showing us one of the cutest cards in Demon Hunter, and man, is she a looker. Gotta post my girl here. It's Stargazer Stelina. And honestly, this is a card that I wish kind of had a little bit more relevance in the meta just because it has such a unique effect. But, I mean, if you're not playing it for an outcast card, it's pretty much useless, and that's a big drawback. But I would like to see more cards like this in the future to where you can kind of get a peek into your opponent's hand and not necessarily like disrupt him anyway, but getting an idea of what's to come is something that I really like in Hearthstone. And a perfect example of this actually is Madame Lazul, to where you're not disrupting your opponent, but you do get a copy of it. But Stargazer Stelina is another great example of a cute card, and in Demon Hunter, nonetheless, there's not really a lot of cute cards. Matcha Dogs and D&D PhD are talking about the Book of Mercenaries of Adorable Minions, and I'm pretty sure the one card that everybody can agree with is the Baby Elekk. I think that this is actually cuter than the Frog is from all the Forge and the Barrens cards art that we've been getting from this recent expansion, but it still doesn't beat what I believe is the cutest card in the game. We'll get to that at the very end of the video, but this is definitely probably the cutest card in all the Book of Mercenaries, and I haven't really seen a lot of the other ones, so if I am missing out on one, feel free to let me know in the comments below. But Baby Elekk, I'm pretty sure is really hard to beat just due to the fact that its eyes just look right into your soul. Britt McCall is talking about Boulderfist Ogre because he has good stats for the cost, and well, he does have a very attractive stat line, and that is very hard to deny. Cuteness is very subjective, and some people might believe that ogres are actually kind of cute compared to other mythical animals, so I will definitely give Britt the benefit of the doubt on this one, because he kind of owned me on the last episode, so if you guys haven't seen that, you definitely should see how Britt kind of put me in my place. To continue on the train of quote-unquote cute minions, Copa is saying Shudderwock. It definitely has to be this one. I mean, just look at his face. The more you look at it, the more you fall in love with it. And Shudderwock is a strong case of, it's not about what's on the outside, it's about what's on the inside and all the fun memories that you have with Shudderwock along the way. So, like, even though he may not be the cutest looker, I have the best memories with Shudderwock, and it's really hard to deny fun things that he can definitely enable. So Shudderwock, you definitely don't get cuteness points in my eyes, but for the community, you definitely have touched our hearts one way or another. So this next one is going to cause a bit of a schism for some people because Deep Reviews is talking about Tabbycat, the one that no one likes killing. You all know which one I'm talking about. And this actually is the schism I'm talking about because which one is the right one? Is it the Alleycat or is it the Tabbycat that you guys never want to kill? And if you want my honest opinion, it's the Tabbycat. But Ben's favorite is the Alleycat because for some reason, Ben likes this silver-looking cat, but every single time I look at Tabbycat, I fall in love with it. It just looks at me in the perfect way to where I just can't say no to it. So what do you guys think? Are you Team Alleycat or are you Team Tabbycat? Let me know in the comments below, and let's see if we can one-up Ben with the power of Tabbycat. But yeah, let's see what Matty Woo has to say. He's saying... Haytham is talking about Flesh Giant. Cuteness is subjective, and that's the biggest thing you guys have to learn from today's video is that, well, I mean, I was actually thinking of making a video about ugly cards in Hearthstone, but some people just kind of beat me to the punch. And, well, Flesh Giant is one of those cards I would actually consider to be some of the ugliest, but best card arts in the game. So, like, I mean, even though he's got the one eye, you know, right here, and I think also right here, and also kind of right, yeah, there is another one right here. Yeah, he's definitely a looker, but I definitely want to look away every single time this card hits the field. And continuing on the train of really nice lookers, we've got Cyber Zubat talking about Rotface. He is the Pikachu of Hearthstone. I would say that the quote-unquote Pikachu of Hearthstone is probably going to be something along the lines of, I mean, it's pretty much the most iconic card, and I want to say it's like Ragnaros or something is like the most iconic card in Hearthstone, or maybe even like Sylvanas. But Rotface is definitely not that iconic to the point where I would put on the same level as Pikachu. But I mean, just look at this guy. He can sometimes summon some pretty cute minions. It's not that many cute legendaries, but I mean, anything you summon out of this card is automatically going to be cuter than it. So I guess it gets points for that because it can technically it could definitely give birth to something nice out of something very, very not nice. Miles Frank is bringing up the Hog, and this is actually a card that I don't see all too often because I forget what card it pops out of because it's a token minion that accompanies a card, very similar to a lot of the cards like Tabbycat, for example. But regardless, this card is just 100% really, really cute. And one thing to keep in mind is that this card is technically stronger than Stone Tusk Boar. So just because a card is cute doesn't mean that it's not going to be that powerful. I mean, Stone Tusk Boar has meme capability, yes, and it has ways of being buffed and can actually kill you. But this Hog, from the very beginning, is stronger than Stone Tusk Boar. So don't think twice whenever you're going up against a Hog, because you should definitely get rid of it before it gets out of control. I'm actually kind of surprised that nobody put Murloc Tinyfin, but El Tinho is putting in Tinyfin's Caravan. So I guess Tinyfin did make the list one way or another. But this is actually a card that gets a lot of points in my eyes because I absolutely love this style of art in Hearthstone with like all of the little Murlocs where they can just be kind of ferocious in one picture and then absolutely adorable in another. And the harder you look at this, you see almost all the Murlocs that I've seen play throughout the years. I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be Tinyfin. This one's supposed to be Murloc War Leader. This one looks like Bluegill Warrior. Obviously, this one's Finja. I don't know if this is supposed to be Murgle, but just based off the color of his skin, that's what I'm assuming. And this one does kind of look like Tidecaller, and I can't remember which one is the orange one. But regardless, you see a lot of Hearthstone cards that we've seen in the past, and then you just have one crab in order to put it all together, and it's just an absolutely amazing card art. One thing I love about Hearthstone is just the card arts in general, and this one's definitely up there in terms of my favorite. Mad HS is giving us another vote for Tabbycat, so remember, if you haven't voted on whether or not Tabbycat or Alleycat is the better one, just remember that Tabbycat is the one that I personally like, because this card is, just look at it, it's just so cute. So, yeah, Tabbycat is the better one. There's no denying it. Sorry, guys, you can't change my mind. Buziko is talking about Serpentbloom, and this is probably one of the cutest cards from Forged in the Barrens outside of some of the other cards that we were talking about, like the Toad. But Serpentbloom is actually Slizzle's favorite card from this expansion just due to the card art. And even though this minion does look really, really cute, remember that it is a very poisonous minion, so don't get too close to it, otherwise you might get killed. Mento is talking about the Silverhand Murloc, and I have a ton of memories with this card because this is a, the only way that you were able to get this card onto the field is if you were to play your Vilespin Inquisitor, which, literally was a 1-mana, 1/3 that changed your hero power to summon, Murloc recruits instead of Silverhand recruits. So if you were playing Murloc Paladin, that was very nice to be able to get a token on the field every single turn for, like, General Megasaur combos. But aside from that, this is just one of the cutest Murlocs out there and actually rivals Tinyfin. And the only reason why is because he's got a tiny little hammer. The tiny hammer just absolutely puts this together for me to where it just didn't even matter if he had like the shield and all of that. The tiny hammer just absolutely puts this together for me. Josh is bringing yet another cute cat into the argument. It's Mr. Bigglesworth. And in case you guys have never seen this card in Hearthstone, there's only one secret way in order to get it. And I can't remember if it's if you have like 4 cats or a full board of cats. But what you're supposed to do is you play Headmaster Kel'Thuzad, and then you play a bunch of cat-like creature cards. And if you I'm pretty sure if you have a full board, he literally just goes, Mr. Bigglesworth, and gives you this 0-mana 1/1 legendary beast that does absolutely nothing. I think it would be hilarious if this card had some kind of like battle cry that like maybe like I don't know, like, cause your opponent not to be able to emote or something like that. I think it'd be absolutely hilarious to see this card do at least something. But if it did do something else, then it would, you know, cause Headmaster Kel'Thuzad to be played in different ways, even if that play wasn't really the best. But regardless, this card is really, really cute. You don't really get to see a lot of cats. And who knows? Do you guys think that this cat is cuter than Tabbycat and Alleycat? I still have my vote on for Tabbycat. But Mr. Bigglesworth, it's definitely a nice-looking Persian that a lot of people like for flavor and design reasons. And Aveline is talking about Deathwing. I mean, cuteness is very, very objective, and some people really like dragons. I mean, I love dragons, but I mean, I'm not willing to go so far to say that this particular dragon that is dripping lava and spitting it out of its mouth is very, very adorable. I actually think that I'd be absolutely terrified against this card, but Aveline seems to also love the music that comes from this card, and again, not very, very cute in my eyes. It's absolutely terrifying. But who knows? Maybe some people like terrifying in some in a different way than I'm used to experiencing it. So Aveline, can't agree with you 100% on this one, but I definitely love dragons, so I can understand the feelings at least a little bit. And that begs the question, what does Clark believe is the cutest card in Hearthstone? And well, it's without a doubt Snowflipper Penguin. And the main reason why Snowflipper Penguin is because he's on a little snowboard, and it's just the most cutest thing that I can think of is a penguin on a snowboard. And even cooler than that is the fact that this card actually has an animation unlike all of the other 0-mana cards before it. And one other thing that definitely puts it above all the other cards in my eyes is the fact that it's a beast, so it has beast synergies as well. It's a very, very minute point because there's cards like Murlocs and whatnot, but beasts were just stronger than a lot of tribes for a long time, but it's just mostly due to the animation. Like, it's just so cool whenever he enters the field. You know an opponent's having fun whenever Snowflipper Penguin is played, and every single time he gets played, you know that Snowflipper Penguin's having fun. But thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. If you guys ever want to see one of your own replies on this video in the future, there are tons of other Twitter posts that I post every single day, so you guys have plenty of chances in order to see what kind of content we'll come up with and to maybe see one of your own replies in one of these videos. Feel free to check the description down below for information on what today's question is, because I ask a question every single morning when I wake up. That's been my routine for the rest of the summer until I start school, and we're going to keep it going strong until my schedule changes just a little bit. But regardless, thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel in order to be notified about our daily content. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you for the next video.